Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
With the Devin fight, I feel like I just, mentally I wasn't there. With the Jack fight, I feel like mentally I was there, but I was going up against a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he said that he beat you worse than Catterrall. That you're just bitter about the fight that you had with him. He tweeted a lot actually on that night. He said, "Hey, Regis doesn't have a chin. Bare knuckle fights aren't for him. He needs to become an amateur boxing coach. USA Boxing." Uncharacteristic, really, from Devin.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Devin. Listen, I always say Devin is we always say he's the homeschool kid. I always say Devin the private school kid. That's him, man. Devin gonna say all kinds of stuff. Look, it is what it is. I'm not worried about Devin. I fought Devin, he beat me. Congratulations. I just fought Catterrall, he beat me. Congratulations. It's over with. I mean, what else I'm gonna say? I don't got to keep tweeting about. That's childish stuff. Devin is 25, so he's still like a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm 35, so I'm not about to go back and forth with the child.
Marcos Villegas conducted a great sit-down interview with two-time super lightweight champion Regis Prograis, shedding light on a few things. Devin Haney's barbs were one of them. It's just like Marcos said, during the fight and after the fight, Devin was tweeting a lot. He had a lot to say about a guy that he already beat.
Boxers, in a very general sense, don't usually show a lot of grace. In fact, when they do, it's a breath of fresh air because of how much you don't see it.
Thus, one boxer taking shots at another, that's more customary, and that is what you're used to. But there did seem to be a bit more to Devin taking shots at Regis.
Maybe it was because of the frequency of tweets that there seemed to be something more.
Devin was really digging in. Now, it could be because of some of the stuff that Regis said after their fight, that he doesn't want to say that Devin uses pads. He doesn't want to say that Devin is cheating, but the way that he ballooned in weight the night of,
for their fight,
that there's something to be said about that, and some things are being said. People are calling Devin Haney a weight bully, among other things. A lot of people are taking shots at Devin for the weight bully stuff, the way he got beat up by Ryan Garcia, turning around and suing Ryan Garcia. A lot of people are taking shots at Devin.
A lot of people.
Stock ain't high right now. So maybe that's why it felt like he was relishing the opportunity to be the one taking shots at someone. Instead of just receiving them, he wanted to give some shots of his own, take shots of his own.
Talk some shit.
Because he can't talk shit to Ryan. Ryan beat him up.
Can't say much. He's in the process of suing that guy.
So he'll trash Regis instead.
Eddie got me paid real good with Matchroom with the little year deal we had, so that's cool. I'm not complaining about that. But I probably could have did something different. But that doesn't have. I don't think that has nothing to do with Matchroom. That has more to do on my side, my representation, and what was going on with me.
He's talking about the performance, the lackluster performance in the Danielito Zorrilla fight, and going straight into a Devin Haney fight right after that. That perhaps that wasn't the best decision. Not the wisest.
Maybe they should have done something else. He's not blaming Matchroom for it. He's blaming his own representation.
Because like I said, after the Zorrilla thing, after New Orleans, the Zorrilla thing, it probably shouldn't have been going. You step into a big Devin Haney fight. After that, you have if somebody sees you have a Zorrilla fight, all right, you do something else. Go fight somewhere else and do this, and then you keep the belt. Then after that, maybe do something else.
I wish he had. Because hindsight is 2020. So when Regis first inks the deal with Matchroom, not too long after that, Subriel Matias inks a deal with Matchroom. And they're both champions at the time. There was a growing demand for a fight between them, a unification match, that I think would have yielded a better aesthetic, a more fun fight to watch than the Devin Haney fight was.
Looking back, that was more of an opportunity for Devin than it was for Regis. We'll get into why.
But then they put me, in a Devin fight, and then with the Devin fight, we fought in San Francisco, which is supposedly his hometown. We did that, and everything was going against me, and I was a champion. And the only reason I did that is because of, and the only reason I did that, and the only reason because I did all the talking is because of we was promised on the ticket sales. I was promised I'm gonna get a percentage of the gate, and I was gonna get a percentage of the pay-per-view. And I never got none of that. So I literally did all that for nothing. I literally went to San Francisco for nothing. I could have just fought him in Houston or something, or New Orleans for the belt. It was no purpose of doing that.
So in the end, for Regis, Fighting Devin Haney just wasn't worth it.
Didn't pay off.
A promised percentage of the pay-per-view's upside relies on there actually being an upside, and if there is no upside, well, a percentage of 0 is 0.
You're gonna get 50% as champion.
Hypothetically speaking, 50%. Well, 50% of 0 is 0.
What about 60%?
That's still 0. 60% of nothing is nothing.
What are you gonna do with all that nothing you've got?
I'm gonna spend it on cocaine and hookers, the usual.
So,
Wait. What do you mean you never? What?
I never got paid. I mean, I got paid from the fight, but I never
Yeah.
got paid from pay-per-view. Or I never got paid from the gate. You know, and listen, I mean, you in boxing, I mean, that's how boxing is. We say boxing dirty, that's the understatement, right? That's an understatement.
Wait. So what did they tell you when you brought that up, though? Like,
They tell me that the fight didn't sell as much as they said it did.
So he would have got his guaranteed purse, the money up front. He would have got that, but any promise of big money on the back end, big money from the upside, if there ain't no upside, there ain't no big money.
yeah.
You know, like, well, I know pay-per-view didn't, but I know the gate did for sure. Had to. I looked in the crowd. I was like, God damn, it's packed. It was 18,000-20,000 people. So it's no way that the fight didn't sell, but there was like, it didn't. So, you know, that's the only reason I agreed to have the fight in San Francisco, because of, okay, if we have it here, you know, we can have a lot of ticket sales. That means more money for me, but I never got paid off it. So it's like, that was really, it was no purpose to even go to San Francisco.
It was a fruitless endeavor for Regis Prograis, fighting Devin Haney in defense of his WBC title. And I think back that if he wouldn't have fought Devin, if they would have stayed the course en route to a Subriel Matias fight, we as customers, we would have got a better fight.
The super lightweight division would have got a unification match, which it sorely needs.
And you could have done it all for less than what you spent satisfying Devin's financial demands. Devin, the dream.
The scheme.
Trying to. This fight shouldn't have been a pay-per-view. It shouldn't have been. We should have got this fight as part of our regular DAZN subscription. Looking back,
You weren't this critical of the fight at the time.
hindsight is 2020, and as Devin Haney said himself, I'm allowed to change my mind. People change their minds. That happens. Looking back, that shouldn't have been a pay-per-view.
Bill it as a pay-per-view and you're rolling the dice. You may be limiting how many eyes you can get on the fight, and for what? For what? To get Devin a few more dollars. Devin Haney.
I think people also tend to forget that Devin's stock wasn't on the up and up going into the Prograis fight. It wasn't, because he was coming off the controversial Vasyl Lomachenko decision. The fight,
Robbery.
a lot of people feel,
Robbery.
Loma got robbed, Devin got a gift. His stock wasn't on the up and up going into the Prograis fight. I now look back and feel like that was more of an opportunity for Devin than it was for Regis.
To win a title at a second weight, to fight on another pay-per-view. The Lomachenko pay-per-view didn't even sell all that much, by the way.
So that he can go into another pay-per-view that also didn't sell all that much.
We know the Ryan Garcia fight didn't sell what they wanted it to sell, and that's why they were piping up. That's why they were complaining about money afterwards.
So that he can turn around and say, only one person can make the fight with Jack Catterrall, himself and Jack Catterrall, and that's Turkey LL Sheikh.
You mean that only one person is out there who might pay you above market value because you yourself ain't worth it? You tried it at Top Rank, you tried it at Matchroom, and you tried it at Golden Boy.
It's not that I don't think Devin is worth anything. It's not that. It's that I think he's asking for too much.
You gotta get Turkey LL Sheikh to make a fight between you and Jack Catterall?
Why? What kind of money do you expect to make fighting Jack Catterall? I mean, it's a good fight, but it ain't a big one.
I don't even want Jack to fight this kid.
His purse demands are out of control. That's what I see.
Out of control.
So then you say something like, well, why should we care about Devin Haney's purse demands? It's not our money.
How is that our problem?
Well, it's because it's our money that he's after. I mean, if you're going to ask for an arm and a leg every time you get out there, the promoter and the broadcaster aren't just going to give you that.
What they're gonna do is bill your fight as a box office fight. That you want that kind of money, see if you can generate it on pay-per-view.
Because they're not going to bust their budget to satisfy demands from you. You want extra? You can get it that way.
Right?
But that added expense, well, that's supposed to come from us. It's supposed to come from me and you. And we talk about it all the time, how the American boxing scene is inundated with pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. More and more fights ending up behind a paywall that has an adverse reaction on the boxing market overall, that you're not getting enough eyes on these fights.
More people aren't talking about boxing because you're tucking so much of the boxing away behind a paywall.
And it's all because of greedy fighters. Greedy fighters, greedy managers, and all of their financial demands, their overblown expectations. It's had an adverse effect on the market, the boxing market in America overall, where we pay more than anybody, more than everybody.
Matchroom helped to build this monster.
They did. Because when they acquired Devin Haney, at that time, they would throw in big cash at everything to acquire talent to the DAZN platform that had just debuted in America. So Devin got used to being paid a certain way. And it wasn't really a reflection of his market value at the time, so much as DAZN and Matchroom's desire to draw talent to their platform.
Pay attention.
You got a kid who's getting $2 and $3 million guaranteed, $2 and $3 million at a time every time he fights, not because his fights generate that kind of dough,
But because DAZN was determined to draw talent to their platform, so they were overspending, paying well above market value. That's how this kid got used to.
So he got accustomed to expecting this kind of money. But now it's out of control. Now it's blown out of proportion. It needs to stop.
But you think we gotta conjure up Turkey LL Sheik, the genie in a bottle, to overpay you for a Jack Catterrall fight? Then don't fight him.
Don't fight him. Take the rest of the year off. Do what you want. I don't want to see you fight Jack anyway. That's not a good style matchup. I am just so over these prissy little prima donnas, these Americans, and all their demands. I'm tired of it.
Why don't you calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down. It's out of control.
Say to the fans out there, you know, your fans based on your future and what happened over the weekend.
Well, I just always want to say thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for buying into my brand. I'm not done yet. I'm definitely not done yet. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do, if it's gonna be at 140, if it's gonna be at 147, or it's gonna be on bare knuckles. So I'm gonna see, you know, I'm for me right now, I'm just gonna see what I'm gonna do. I don't really know yet, but thanks for tuning in, and you know, we definitely gonna have some big news probably in the next few months. So yeah, just keep tuning in. I thank everybody for everything.
Regis told Marcos Villegas that he's not giving up. He's not retiring. You know, it's still his goal to become a 3-time champion, whether it's at super lightweight or somewhere else. He's even entertaining the idea of getting into bare knuckle boxing.
Well, I told you. Based on the performance that I saw, he didn't look like a shot fighter. I've seen shot fighters. He ain't shot.
He's just got his limitations, the same as Teofimo Lopez, and people don't call Teofimo a shot fighter. They say he's a limited fighter.
Think about it.
Regis Prograis looking bad with Danielito Zorrilla is not that dissimilar from Teofimo looking bad with Sandor Martin.
Think about it.
Regis Prograis losing to Devin Haney and Jack Catterrall is not that different from Teofimo losing to George Cambodia.
Yeah, but Teofimo had outgrown 135.
And who's to say that Regis Prograis hasn't outgrown 140? He's been there for a long time, a very long time. And for Regis, it may be time to move up to 147.
Told you, it's not that different. Not when you think about it. I don't think Regis's issue is that he's a shot fighter. He just has his limitations. The same as a Teofimo, who's a younger man, a much younger man. But he's got his limits, Regis has got his limits, and there are things that need to be worked on.
It's not me being a cockeyed optimist. That's me being observant that the fighter that I saw in there with Jack, he didn't look shot, he didn't look off, it's just a bad style matchup for that guy. But if you put him in there with a pressure guy like a Steve Claggett at 140 or a Roman Villa at 147, he might look better.
It's chasing a guy around the ring that he's not good at.
We've been all through it. Regis Prograis may yet be able to make himself useful to Matchroom and what they have going on, what they may have going on at 147. Conor Benn! You know, there's a rumor going around that Tosh Jailer has inked a multi-fight deal with Matchroom, and I wondered, why would Matchroom want to sign Josh Taylor? Maybe to put him in the ring with Conor.
At 147.
Now, that's just a rumor. That's just hearsay. What I heard around the campfire. But for that, you could do the same thing with Regis. Move him up to 147. Get him a rebound fight with an Ishmael Barroso. Maybe a rematch with Josh Taylor.
Some momentum going.
What I like about Regis Prograis is that he doesn't strike me as a prima donna, a pretty little princess. He's a realist. He understands the business.
They can find use for him, and he can find use for them.
I know that not that long ago Eddie Hearn was talking about a Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank fight. Chris Eubank, whose name is now tied to a potential Canelo fight.
Right?
I don't know how committed Chris Eubank Jr. is to doing that Conor Benn fight. And if that doesn't look to be happening, then there's no reason for Conor to move all the way up to middleweight.
No.
So maybe Conor stays at 147. He needs to beef up his resume anyway. Beef it up with former champions like Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis.
His ban is set to be lifted next year.
His suspension. What I would like to see Regis Prograis versus Ishmael Barroso early next year. Either the end of January or the end of February.
Yes.
Get Conor some kind of a tune-up fight, some kind of a ham and egg guy, some kind of something when the ban is lifted.
It's good.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to match Conor Benn against Regis Prograis.
At some point next year. It doesn't have to be right away. You can build it up.
The Brits happen to like Regis Prograis because he's proven himself a warrior, a gracious warrior that's willing to travel. He traveled for Josh Taylor. He traveled for Jack Catterrall.
He's an entertaining fighter.
I don't mind the idea of Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis a couple of months from now, well into next year. I don't mind that.
It's just an idea I'm bouncing around.
What could Regis Prograis do at welterweight? Who could he fight? World title picture aside, and there are 4 world champions there.
Some more beatable than others.
There are other fights and other areas of opportunity. Now, if Regis Prograis insists on staying in the sport, he's not ready to retire yet, he wants to stick around, there are things that he needs to work on, and I've talked about them, how he needs to use his jab more, be prolific with his lead hand.
Double up on the jab, triple up on the jab.
Of course you can use the jab as a scoring blow, but you can also use it as a deterrent, that when you let it go, it's not necessarily because you're looking to land it, so much as you want to get the other guy to cover up while you get in close.
To land the heavier punches.
For God's sake, he needs to learn to cut off the ring. I don't think it's too late to figure that out. That subtle shift, that subtle difference between following the opponent around the ring in a straight line and cutting off his exits. There's a difference. It's a subtle difference, but it makes a world of difference.
He's gotta do it, he's gotta learn it. Otherwise, he's always gonna struggle with movers.
You move with the opponent, parallel to the opponent, and cut off their exits. You go to where they will be.
Not to where they are.
When you see they're not engaging, when you see they're on the balls of their feet circling away from you, go to where they will be.
It's subtle, but it matters.
Regis Prograis at age 35, coming off his 3rd professional loss, may be approaching the end, but I don't think he's done yet, not completely.
Still got some fight left in him.